Good evening, Master. Good evening. Good evening, friend channel. Good evening, ladies who are listening to us. We are grateful for the presence of all beings of light from the brotherhoods gathered here, and we also thank our ever-present Archangel Michael and his entire legion of angels of goodwill, angels of light who always accompany us, always with the intention of transmitting messages for our beloved special human beings, who will be the pioneers of a new age in humanity, the new age of the material plane. Let's talk a little about this new age, where many changes will take place, and some of these changes we have already talked about: logistics and medicine. Today we will talk more about the subject of religions. Soon, people will be aware of the uniqueness of the Supreme Divine Being, who in the West we call God, and in the East there are many different divinities that express different characteristics of our Supreme Divine Self, which is God, who we Westerners call God. Everyone will have this view that despite different names and characteristics, we are all revering, we are all referring to a one higher being. Thus, the divergences that we see today on the material plane, which sometimes are radical and have already caused not only the death of many people, but have also caused a severe segregation on the material plane, on the spiritual plane, as well as on the astral plane. These differences will become more and more uncommon. They will no longer exist. They will be more and more rare because of human consciousness. Because of the human consciousness, which will reach higher levels, quite different from the current ones. We can tell you that this convergence of information, thoughts, and experiences is already taking place. The fact is that we beings of light from several different brotherhoods are meeting weekly in harmony, in oneness, in full divine energy, flowing in the hearts of all of us. Something that a few decades ago would have been difficult to happen because of banal differences, purely because of illusion. These differences nowadays, here, with these experiences that we are having weekly, we can say that they have been removed. Therefore, we beings of light are in full convergence, in full conjunction, and incredibly happy to be in a new moment of learning, in a new moment where we enhance our experiences and share our knowledge. This means to live as one being of light. This already occurs in several other orbits, and some of us have experienced this in other times, in other places far away. We know that from this stage on, the planet will develop exponentially in a high and very accelerated way. I believe that you can all already perceive this evolution that has been taking place on planet Earth. In decades, a lot has evolved technologically, much more than in several centuries in the past. This will also happen on the energetic levels, on the spiritual levels. The spiritual evolution will take place in an increasingly accelerated way as soon as the planet Earth reaches an adequate energy level. From that moment on, the growth, the elevation will be exponential for sure. Like so, as mentioned, religions that exist today and where religious leaders defend with tooth and nail their beliefs, their dogmas, their thoughts, it all becomes meaningless when there is the awareness that there is only one higher being, and all of us are part of the same thing, so to speak. Therefore, there is no longer any point in having different beliefs. It doesn't make any sense anymore to have disagreements regarding religions, regarding spiritual issues. In this way, more and more unconditional love is being understood. Unconditional love is being experienced, lived in a real, true way. Evidently, in this way, the differences between races, creeds, genders will diminish more and more. No longer will human beings worry about their differences and will then be able to focus on the things that are the same. Walls, segregations will cease to exist, and union begins to exist. Even geographical differences will cease to exist. Geographical boundaries will no longer exist. Different currencies and economies will no longer exist. Language differences cease to exist. The human being learns to communicate in an universal way. Verbalizing gives space to telepathy, just like here on our spiritual plane, where we no longer communicate by verbal language. Our communication is much more efficient, much faster, and with no possibility of misinterpretation. Transparency is something that happens without even thinking about it. There is no way to hide behind masks, behind words, behind gestures that often end up being deceived on the material plane. All of this totally loses its meaning in the new age. That is what we all must be prepared for, to experience a totally transparent world in which people can no longer vibrate in one energy and appear to be vibrating in another energy. The human being will no longer be able to deceive. So imagine a world where there is no misunderstanding of what people are feeling or thinking. That is why, dear beloved human beings, it is necessary to separate human beings according to their energies, according to their potentialities. Understand that in a situation like the one acquired in such a developed material plane, there is no more room, no more space for those who live on lies, who live on ego, on appearances. That is why a segregation is being done, as you like to say, the separation of the wheat and chaff. Without this separation, humanity would not be capable of this energetic leap, this spiritual evolution. That is also why we alert you all to the various other reincarnations, the various others disembodiments that will still take place with people on the contemporary material plane. As well explained and clarified to our beloved Master Tanaka many, many years ago, segregation is just beginning. Many must leave for other orbits, other planets. That is also why we have always been guiding you to show reality to your loved ones, to those people who you know by intuition are on the borderline between the chaff and the wheat, and who wait just a few guidelines to become compatible people with this new age. Very well, Master. Very well, Friends Channel. We are sure that the message is truly clear. We appreciate everyone's presence. May you all have a great week. So be it, so it is. It is done. Thank God.